Hello, everyone, and welcome to Around Town. I'm Elizabeth Graff, and we are here in the beautiful First Baptist Church here in Dublin. Beautiful church. And I have with me Chandler Stone and Nancy Claxton. And we have a wonderful story to tell you about these two talented people. How are you doing today, Chandler?
Doing great.
Yes, and Miss Nancy?
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. Now, I said you guys are very talented, and that's an understatement. I want to first talk with you, Chandler. Tell me about your history in learning the piano from the start.
All right. Well, in 5th grade, I went to Northwest Lawrence Elementary out in Dudley, and I started taking a little keyboard class with Dr. Herring out there. She was the music teacher, and I told Mom that I wanted to start learning piano, and she said, "Well, you know, we'll try to see if you like it with this little keyboard class and everything." And I did. So I did that for a year, and then it just so happened that my neighbor taught piano. Anyway, so I started taking with her privately. Well, I think it's right at 10 years ago, so 9 years ago. So.
Wow. So around 10 to 9 years you've been playing the piano.
Right.
Tell me where it has gotten you.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of things that I don't think I would have been able to do otherwise. I have a lot of great friends who are also musicians that I get to play with, and everything. And I don't know. It's just I'm just really excited about kind of where I think it's going to get me. So.
Mm-hmm. Now I know he's just just touching on how good he is, and I know we're going to get the whole story here from Miss Nancy. Oh. And so when he decided to talk to you about learning how to play the piano, what did you think?
Well, we start first by giving pieces, and he would always come in very prepared and more prepared than most, well, like the average student. He was always very artistic. He's a showman. Mm-hmm. And I knew this from the beginning. There were strong talent skills that were there. And I immediately felt very responsible. I knew that my job was in front of me, that I had to stay focused with him. I could not let my hair down and be friendly. I had to always I took him very seriously. I knew the talent, and he has just fulfilled everything that I put out there in front of him. Mm-hmm. Up to this point of this year where he has gone to 3 colleges that he had selected to try out for scholarships, and all 3 were wanting him, really fighting for him.
Wow. And
he ended up with a wonderful scholarship to my alma mater, Shorter University. I really did not push that. This was his decision and the school's decision.
Yeah. So you're going to this great college. Why did you choose Shorter?
Well, everyone at Shorter's, they're all just so nice, which is kind of, a diamond in the rough quality when you go to these larger universities. You're kind of just a number. And Shorter's a smaller private school. And the man I'm going to be studying with is just fantastic, and I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So when do you start?
In August.
Wow. Goodness gracious. Now, how far of a drive is that from your mom?
About 3.5 hours.
Oh, but still close enough.
Right.
Good.
Close enough.
Good. Now, as a mom, I understand, you want your child to go to a good college, so it's not too far. It's not too far. You don't want them to go far. Exactly. It's in the state. So now I want to know, what type of music do you like to play the most?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I really like jazz. I love classical music, but I really, I don't know. Classical music is kind of obviously more serious, as far as, it's just more serious music and kind of, just relaxing music. I like to play jazz and some interpretive jazz stuff. So
yeah. Like to tickle the ivories.
Well, yeah.
What type of music do you find is the hardest ones to learn?
Definitely classical music. It requires the most thought into it. Your facility and technique really has to be there to, play the piano effectively, other than just sit at it and kind of bang away. So definitely classical music.
Mm-hmm. you have a particular song that you have that is your favorite?
I don't know. There are just so many, and it kind of changes per week, I think.
Like when you're like, oh, I'm stressed. I just need to sit down and play. What is the song that your fingers always seem to go to?
Like I said, it just kind of changes per week, I think. I don't know. At different times, at different moods, certain things just kind of come out.
Yeah, is it always like soothing sometimes? Or
most of the time, every once in a while, some frustration gets let out, but that's good. That's good release, I suppose.
Do you have any siblings?
I don't. I'm an only child.
An only child. So I bet your mom she dotes on you too.
Right.
But she's like, okay, did you practice today?
Definitely.
Have you performed in front of an audience before?
Oh, sure. My church has been really kind of giving and letting me play for them, offer tours and things like that. Actually, there was a contemporary Christian band that I played in, which is not classical music. But anyway, and we went around Middle Georgia and South Georgia and played for worship events and stuff like that. So
yeah. So when you had to perform for the first time in front of people, what was that like for you?
I was terrified, but I was much younger. It was actually the first piano classes that I took. It was kind of like group piano, and there was no recital. It was just kind of learn how to play, and it was real nice. Then we got to Miss Nancy, and it's like, okay, well, you're playing on a recital in 6 months. And I'm like,
Do what?
Right.
Well, I never knew that about
Yeah.
you. I thought you enjoyed it always.
Yeah.
I always say that Chandler's such a ham. He's a showman.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, he really is. But going back to the classical music, yes, it is the foundation of all music.
It is.
If you can play serious music, classical music, then you can branch out into anything because you have the structure and the foundation.
And so you made sure that's what he had.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sometimes, I could tell that my music had not been practiced to the level that I knew he was capable. It wasn't that he was not practicing. He was working for other people and doing programs, besides my work. But he always got the job done because he's capable of doing all of this.
Wow.
Just a super student and a super fine young man. You can teach students like from grade 2 or second grade up to like 6th, 7th grade, and they change, of course. And you're ready for them to go and get rid of that and then come back when they, gain some maturity. But Chandler did not go through that. He's always been a fine young man. I can honestly say that.
You must be very proud. He's
I'm
probably like
very,
a son to
very
you.
proud of him. He is. He's like my child.
Yeah.
And, I have to keep my emotions inside, but I am going to miss this young man greatly.
So when he has his first performance up in Shorter, I bet you're going to get front row.
I want to be there. Oh, yes. I'm sure I'll be back to Shorter many times now.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it, though.
I bet. Very proud, too.
Yes, very
Oh, man. I wanted to ask, what was your favorite performance that you've done?
Probably my favorite performance that I've done. I just came back from Shorter, and it was kind of like a music camp type of thing, and I got to go up there and work with a whole lot of different musicians that are at different talent levels and different stages in their musical career, I suppose. And I think that was probably the most rewarding, just kind of because we started on Sunday, and it was a Sunday through Friday kind of deal, and just seeing everybody progress, and then we had an end of camp recital, and that was probably my favorite. I don't know. It was just so interesting to me to see everyone kind of progress and how far everyone came in a week's time. You know, as far as skill level and everything, and cleanliness and playing. So.
Right. How do you choose the music that you're going to perform? This recent performance, who chose that, and how do you do that?
So many times I enter the students in festivals and competitions, and there are required pieces that they have to play. And so this is where so many of the pieces come. This is where they come from. Then I think about the personality. Like, for instance, he's playing the Rachmaninoff Prelude in C-sharp minor. I had another student play this a while back, and I knew Chandler liked it. So when I gave it to him, I really thought he was excited about it. And then this spring, we needed a closer for a big program that he's doing. And I mentioned the Khachaturian Toccata. And he really you can just tell when, a student wants to play it. He seemed to be very excited about that. So you've got to work between personalities and what they're capable of doing, of course, what their technique capabilities are. And so, they're just this criteria there.
So, okay, you've got Beethoven and the one I can't pronounce, the one she just talked about, and I got to hear her to say it again.
It's Aram Khachaturian.
Khachaturian.
His toccata is so famous. It's a toccata meaning touch piece, showpiece. So it's perfect for Chandler.
Yeah. Do you know all these songs? I mean, when people say, "Oh, this song or that song," do you know them, or do you have to listen to them?
Well, I suppose it's just like any other music. As far as you're either kind of familiar with something or you're not. More often than not, I listen to a lot of classical music, so I think with that comes a lot of classical music.
Right.
Kind of just by heart and just by hearing it.
Right.
So.
Now, I look at the sheet musics that they have, and how they must have sat down to write the songs, but to be able to bring it back. When you look at the dates that these were written, and it's still here, and people are still playing them now, and what does that do? What does that do when you were able to do that?
Well, that's just the sign of true classical composition. It's endured time. It is still gorgeous, and everyone still loves it. Take, for instance, Clair de Lune, Debussy's Clair de Lune. That's just the first thing that popped into my mind. Or, Beethoven's Fifth, the Mozart 40th. These are just compositions that have endured and weathered time, and they're still famous and played today in concert halls. Yes. That tells you it's classical.
Yes, and you are a part of that.
Yeah, something that I find really interesting and makes me really excited about playing classical music is, anytime any type of music is written down, a composer is taking something that's completely abstract and making it concrete enough to the point that someone else can play it. So when you approach a piece of music, it's kind of, you can't just play what's kind of there, because the thing is on music, sheet music, there are different musical directions that are given to us and stuff, but it's terribly inconvenient for the composer to write every little direction of how exactly he wants it to be played. I don't know, it's just
you
super.
Write a book.
Right, exactly, just a little novel that goes with the music. But so you really have to just take time and kind of, bring it back to life, like you said earlier.
Right.
And especially with these pieces that are 200 years old, and 150 years old, that's just, you kind of have to think of what was going on in the time, and everything. It's just really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's not just, like you said, it's not just notes. Exactly, it's
You've got
emotion.
to lift the notes off the page.
Right, you have to make it yours.
That's right.
And theirs.
Right.
You can't just make it yours
At the same time.
Disrespectful, right?
Right.
So do you get yourself, do you feel yourself into the music? Are you into it, each song as you play?
Sure. I think that to play anything effectively, or to do anything, sports, music, anything, I think you have to be into it,
Right.
As
What's that?
Focus.
Exactly, yes.
So everything that you do, with me, it happens to be music, with each piece you kind of just have to, I don't know, each piece is kind of like a story. There are different climaxes and whatnot. And you just kind of have to dive in and sit for a little while and just kind of figure out where it's going. So
That's a great way. It is a story. What's your future after college?
After college, right now my plans are to go to grad school and as a piano performance or piano collaborative. In that field of study, and hopefully concertize while I'm younger with classical music, maybe some jazz music, and then later on kind of settle down and teach at the college level. So.
Yeah. So you want to be a performer.
Right. Well, I think everyone that teaches performs, and everyone that performs teaches. So I think while I'm younger, I'd really, really like to concertize and play, and then when I'm kind of get older, well, not older, but 20 or 30,
As you mature.
Right. I'd like to settle down and teach. So
Settle down here in Dublin and teach too?
maybe, you never know.
So parents, we might have a future teacher here for your kids.
Yeah, maybe.
It'd be a great one.
I think so too. I'm going to be going to a break right now, but when we come back, we're going to talk more with Nancy, find out more about her background, and still talk more with Chandler. So stay with us. You're watching Around Town. Welcome back, everyone, to Around Town. I'm having so much fun here with Chandler and Nancy. I'm getting to know them more. But talking about music is just, music is a part of everyone's life. You listen to it while you're driving, while you're cleaning, and I'm sure everyone gets caught singing out loud while you're at a red light and you look over and someone's watching. But being able to produce music with your fingers, it's just a wonderful thing. And Nancy, you have been teaching people to do this for a long time now. How long? How many years now?
Oh, my goodness. I started when I was at Charter University. I guess I was 18, or even younger than, it would have been 18. And I taught some in Europe while I was at the conservatory there. And then when I married and came to Dublin, I didn't really think that was what I wanted to do. So I did not teach when people would ask me for about 6 months. And then I thought, I kept being asked, and I thought, I'll teach a few. Well, I fell in love with teaching. And I've had the most wonderful students here. It was just like the good Lord just sent them to me, I've enjoyed every minute of it. You get those who are not as gifted as others, but just to see the progress, if you can see progress, I don't know, it's thrilling as a teacher. It just really is. It's harder for some. Like we're talking, Chandler, notes. He's a master at lifting the notes off the page and making it beautiful to sound. But when you get these students who have no idea of that, and possibly will never be able to do that, if you can just get them to learn how to memorize, to be able to read the notes, feel the rhythm, you have really accomplished something here. And they will be able to enjoy this for the rest of their lives and do with music what they wish, So
And also, you know, as they grow older and they have a family, encourage their children
exactly, it's culture, and it's wonderful to know that you have you've spread just a little bit. You know, perhaps.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's just a drop.
Right, like
But
a seed.
But it was an
like a
important,
grass.
yes, because I don't think the schools have enough of it. Now, Chandler, of course, participated in a great band program with Michael Dukes at West Lawrence. And I know this has just helped him so terribly much. Of course, at Shorter, he's going to be in the band, I believe, again. You know, he was drum major for them. And that's, you know, a great accomplishment, achievement, and a great honor, too.
Right.
But goodness, I think all children should be given the opportunity to study music.
Yes.
And then I have all these people say, I wish my parents had made me practice. Well, I wish they had too. You know, I have 3 children of my own, and they had no choice. It was like brushing their teeth. You know, their mother was going to sit there with them, you know, to be sure that they practiced. And
Right.
now,
Little did they know how lucky they were.
well, they
Right,
they
Chandler?
did not
Absolutely.
love their mother at the time, and sometimes I risked my own life with one of them. But anyway, that particular one has come back and told me how much he appreciates the fact that I gave him that.
Tell me about your children. How many do you have, and what are
I
they
have
doing
3
now?
wonderful children. Of course, all parents have wonderful
Right,
children.
yeah.
Elizabeth Ann, my oldest, is an opera singer, and she is living in Atlanta with her husband, and she does some gigs for Atlanta Opera there, and she does perform around town, and
Wow.
she is a soloist at Peachtree Presbyterian Church there, and she's getting ready to sing in Italy in 2 weeks.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Are you going to go?
Yes.
Don't you need us to be there with you?
Well, I'd love for you to come
Yes,
interview.
City 35?
Well, I'll go to Italy. And then I have twin sons. Jonathan lives in Brazelton, Georgia, and he's human resource director for U.S. Auto Sales in the state. And then Benjamin is in Jackson, Mississippi with his wife, and he was an NFL football player for 9 years, and he retired, and now is in law school.
Wow.
Second year. So
Wow.
I have wonderful children.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
very
good.
blessed.
It's
Yes.
good that you also had your NFL football player have one of those secondary, fallbacks, right? Because when you're done playing football, you got to have something else you got to do. And now he's a lawyer.
Yeah, he's going to be a lawyer. Yes,
Wow.
yes, and he's loving it. He really is loving the school. And thank you for asking me about my children.
As a mom, I understand. You know, your children are your life, and
Exactly.
and as
But
you
my
had,
students have come
They're your
in-
children, too.
Oh, yes. This is going to be an enormously hard void to fill, you know, if you can imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, you think about the years, you know.
9,
And-
almost 10 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But anyway, it's each one means so much to me, and they're all my children.
Do you think back of how it was when Chandler first showed up at your house?
he was
So how it is?
cute. I have a picture right by my piano of Chandler when he was a tiny little boy standing by a piano. And then there's another picture of him. I think we were at the music festival in Macon. And, you know, they'll always be there. My piano room is nothing but pictures of everyone.
Yeah.
And so many of them are students at the piano.
Can you remember around about how many students you have taught?
No, I have no idea.
Countless.
I have no idea. Well, you know, I teach privately, so therefore, and I try not to get over 10 students in the class in the year. But many times there have been more. I like to be able to give a lot of time. I try to teach 2 30-minute lessons a week, but so many times it's, well, lately it's been every day, hasn't it, Chandler?
I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
So back to Chandler. When you're performing, you said that your first performance was terrifying. Is it still terrifying for you?
Not so much. It's something I love to do. It's super, super fun. I mean, I get nervous, but I don't think you're alive if you don't get nervous. You know.
Right.
But you know, after you get over your jitters, it's really, really fun. You know. So.
What is it that you tell yourself before you step up and to the keys to play?
Well, I think the most comforting thing is if you've put the amount of work in that you need to, then you're going to get a good result. You know. So I think sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking if you haven't put the amount of work in that you need to. But when you put the amount of work in that you should have, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a good result. So that's comforting.
Yeah. Must be, a wonderful feeling to be able to sit and watch and see what's been happening throughout
goodness.
the years.
I can only imagine what's going to happen to him. If he stays focused, and that's all I tell him. He's just stay focused and set your goals high and go after them and get them.
And don't give up.
Don't let anything get in your way. You've got to do this.
Right.
When you are given such a talent, you need to develop it, and it's your responsibility. And his mother, I must commend her. She has been the most wonderful mother to him, and she has the finest young man to show what she has done. I mean, it has just impressed me the whole time of teaching him. To be able to call Debbie anytime that I needed to, and I knew it would be done.
Yeah. 110% of the time.
But it's so, I don't know, she's very inspiring.
Yeah, it's good. You've got such a good support group here that helps you, move along.
Absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, of course my mom and my family, but my church is really super, super supportive. Miss Nancy is super, super supportive. And I have just several other people that are just really, really supportive, which is, a huge thing
Yes, it is.
as far as success, So I'm super thankful for that.
Yeah. Nancy, speaking of church, you also are the...
I'm the pianist here at First Baptist, yes. We have several pianists here, and we have a wonderful assistant, Carol Thomas. I have been here for 40 years. And the church was so kind. They gave me a really big, what shall I say, congratulations. It was a service kind of dedicated to
40 years.
Yes.
And this was just recent.
Just recently,
too.
yes,
Oh, my
yes. Actually, just last month.
Congratulations.
Yes. Well, thank you. But, it's so funny. I said, I was talking with Jeff Brazel, our new minister of music. And he had been here for 2 Sundays, and we were just talking before practice or something. And I said, I've been here forever. He said, yes, 40 years. And I'm going, has it been that long?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
Wonderful church. It's a wonderful church full of very warm, fine Christian people. And we just have so many things going for us. God has blessed us.
Yes, and it's such a beautiful church.
Oh, it's a gorgeous church.
It is.
It is just, I don't know, you walk in here on Sunday mornings, well, as you can see now, the sun coming from these gorgeous stained glass windows, and it's just, I don't know, it's a touch of heaven, I think.
Exactly, yes. And what's it like being able to perform for the church?
Oh, it has been, it's an extreme blessing for me. I can't think of doing anything else now. I had the same idea to do as Chandler says he's going to do. I planned on probably settling down in Washington, D.C. I was studying in Salzburg, Austria, after Shorter, at the Mozarteum, which is a conservatory of music there. And I was there for 3 years and had come home to get some concerts throughout Georgia. And Dublin was on the list. And my dearest friend, Harriet Claxton, was president of Fine Arts. And she decided if I came back the next year, she was going to introduce me to her cousin-in-law. And she did, and we fell in love and married. And so that brought me to Dublin. And the church just sort of adopted me. They had just purchased a brand new Baldwin concert grand, and they needed someone to play. So
how could you not do that?
It was just, I don't know, it was just like the opportunity was, it just opened up
It was
for
meant
me.
to be.
Yes, it was. So I dedicated this piano, the new Baldwin, and then my church in Macon was the Vineville Baptist, and they had just purchased a new Baldwin, so I dedicated that one. And then 2 years ago, I believe it was Dick Burrell, who was minister of music then, helped get the new Steinway we're so proud of. And so the three of us, my daughter Elizabeth and Dick and myself, dedicated this one. And
Wonderful.
It's been fantastic being here.
What a wonderful neighbor to have, right?
Fantastic neighbor to have. No, Miss Nancy is a fantastic teacher. She's a fantastic person, which I think that's part of what makes a fantastic teacher, you know. I don't know, it's just been really great to have her as a teacher and as a neighbor. You know, it kind of builds the bond, I suppose, but it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate both of you talking with us and learning more about you, and I can't wait to see what your future is going to be like.
Neither can I.
Thanks again, and thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.